Being live, I just want to make sure that I'm in the right place and that people are finding me. Oops. All right, and it looks like we are. Let me just look at my panel here. Okay, good. So it looks like we're streaming in all the places, Facebook and YouTube. So welcome everybody. I'm going to give just a minute for people to see that I'm on in case you're joining me on the live stream instead of Zoom. Let me know that you're here, and I am excited to get started with this class. And I'm just going to dive right in because I have a lot of material to share today, and I'm going to be doing some healing at the end as well. Actually, quite a bit of healing. So grab some water and settle in. So welcome officially to the Sacred Wealth Virtues Masterclass. In case you're new to me and my work, I'm Alicia Hartzell, the creator and founder of Sacred Soul Alignment, amongst other things, co-founder of Sacred Light Modalities, and I've also just recently created a brand new modality called Sacred Soul Symbols, and I'm going to be using a couple of those tools today in the healing as well. So wherever you are joining me from, welcome. Let us know in the comments where you're joining from. I love seeing where everybody is from all over the world. And let us know how you're doing today. I'd also love to hear if you have taken my Sacred Wealth Virtues quiz to identify your primary Sacred Wealth Virtue archetype. If you haven't taken that quiz, you can scroll down to the link that is in this post if you're watching me on the live stream. And I'm going to put the quiz into the comments on Zoom because we're going to be taking it all together in just a few minutes. So today I'm going to be talking about two things that I'm really passionate about: virtues and wealth. I strongly believe that the more people who are really working to embody virtues like love, devotion, fortitude, and exuberance, which are the sacred wealth virtue archetypes that I've identified that are tied to those virtues, and who have a heart for others, that we are creating wealth. Those of us who are doing this work in the world, who are creating wealth, who have more of that energy in our lives, that we can work together to change the world dramatically in a very short period of time. And the more people like us who are balancing out the energy of wealth in the world, the faster that change is happening. Somewhere along the line, and I believe it was intentional, that we as humanity received the message that wealth isn't spiritual. And that is simply not true. In fact, it's extremely disempowering programming, which is why I believe it was intentionally propagated on humanity from the beginning of time. And I also believe that it's one of my missions in the work that I'm doing in the world on this planet is to change that viewpoint and to change the imbalance of the distribution of the frequency of wealth amongst people on this planet. You might have noticed that, and you probably have if you are awake and aware, which you are if you're watching this video, that the energy of money on this planet is changing. And it has changed a lot in the last 5 years since I first created this sacred wealth virtues system. It's really changed a lot throughout the last 3 years of the pandemic and after. The old ways are collapsing. And you have probably noticed that. Everyone on this planet is experiencing this. And I believe that it's important to do our best not to get caught up in the fear around that, in the fear of what it looks like is a collapse of so many systems in our world. And they are collapsing, but they're collapsing for good reasons. They're collapsing so that something better can take their place. But it looks like the world is falling apart. And I believe that it's important not to go into fear around that as much as we can, and to hold a bigger picture perspective, and to keep our frequency as high as possible. And in fact, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of work today for all of us for just that, around the fear of this collapse, the fear of these systems of wealth and money on this planet, and to really raise our frequency around that today. So I'm excited to do that work for all of you and myself as well. So this concept of wealth virtues and these archetypes is something that I came up with in my own personal work a few years ago. And I taught this class, the Sacred Wealth Virtues class, live only one time about 5 years ago. Some of you guys might have taken that class, and this was a couple years before the pandemic. It was in 2018. And since that time, I had intended to teach this class live again, actually a couple of times, and both times it just ended up not being what I was really being called to do. I've really been called to work with teaching my modalities since the beginning of the pandemic. That's been what I've been called to focus on, and get more and more of these tools out there into the hands of people who are using them all around the world. And I've been really strongly guided to bring this class back out again, or the system back out. The class has been entirely recreated. So if you did take it live 5 years ago, if you have taken the self-study version of this class, it's going to be a completely different class when I teach it live again here in a couple of weeks, because I have so many. I can't even believe how many new tools I've received and created in the last 5 years. So the healing tools that I'm working with now are so much more potent than they were even back then. And so I've just completely recreated the whole program. But the concept of wealth virtues is something that I came up with through my own personal work a few years ago. And I've been working with virtues as part of my personal practice for probably close to a decade now, really working on embodying and developing specific virtues. And I've learned a lot about how virtues unlock our ability to bend the universal laws, such as the law of time, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, etc. Embodying virtues really unlock many different abilities. For example, psychic abilities can be unlocked by really working with developing and embodying the virtues of kindness, tolerance, truthfulness, and understanding. And when we can really develop those virtues within ourselves, our psychic and intuitive abilities get stronger and stronger and stronger. Instant manifestation can be unlocked by the development and embodiment of the virtues of acceptance, creativity, detachment, determination, fairness, focus, forgiveness, imagination, joy, mercy, and a purity of heart. So just think about how when you're working on manifesting something, we pretty much all know that some of these things are an important part of that process, like detachment. If we're too attached to something that we're trying to create, we tend to be pushing it away. if we're really attached to that outcome. So by focusing on embodying specific virtues, we can also really begin to change our relationship with money and begin to unlock enormous amounts of wealth and abundance in our life. Once we unlock that ability to draw that into our life, we are really breaking through our money ceiling. And the thing about breaking through a money ceiling is that once you break through that, you don't go backwards. So much of manifesting is short term, and we might see a change, in one day, and then we revert back to our old self the next day. But once we break through a money ceiling, it's a permanent change, and we all have a money ceiling. It's easy to tell where yours is, and I actually created a whole sacred soul alignment around this concept and around the beliefs that I have seen that have helped people break through their money ceiling, and it's called money ceiling. So take a look at your finances. Do you consistently make the same amount of money every month? Or have the same bank account balance at the end of the month, no matter what has happened in your month? This can often show up in situations where we receive additional money and then something happens to cause us to have to spend that money on unexpected expenses. So this is one of the things that working with our wealth virtue archetype can do pretty quickly, is help us break through those borders and limitations that our belief programming has created for us. Embodiment of virtues will train ourselves in the long-term manifestations and the long-term changes in our relationship with money. Unlike some processes that we might do that work, it seems like they're working, and then, like I said, we slide backwards. So we go forward one step, two step backwards. So embodying or mastering virtues will transform our relationship with wealth and the energy of money like no other work that I've ever seen. And it's also really transforming all areas of our life at the same time, because virtues affect every aspect of our being and every aspect of our life. So I started working on this with the area of wealth and abundance a few years ago, and it dramatically changed my relationship with money. And my relationship with money continues to change every time I revisit this work. So when I created the system, I came up with 4 different wealth archetypes, and those are love, devotion, exuberance, and fortitude. And I'd like to invite you to go through this 8-question quiz with me. If you're joining me on Zoom, I'll drop the link again if you want to go through it live, if you haven't taken it already. And if you are joining me on the live stream, it's above the video on Facebook and below in the description on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go through this together. Now, if you're not in a place where you can click on the quiz and take it live, or if you just want to follow along, then you can just keep track of your answers, and I'll be naming the answers 1 to 4. So just keep track of, for question 1, what's your answer between 1 to 4, question 2, and so on. Good, and you guys are sharing. Oh, I keep sharing the link, but it's just going to hosts and panelists. So let me share that again in Zoom for you guys. There you go. So you can follow along. And my primary virtue is exuberance. Somebody asked me that. And I have also found that it has been really, really life-changing for me to do the work around the the virtues, especially the other virtues, but especially the virtue of devotion and fortitude. So doing sort of the shadow work that's part of the program around those two virtues has really shifted my relationship with money, in addition to the one that I identify with primarily, which is exuberance. All right, so question number 1. If your best friend described you, they would say, answer 1, you're a deep thinker and you love your own company, but if someone's in trouble, you're the first to step up and help. Answer 2, you're reliable and responsible, and they can count on you to never forget their birthday or anyone else's ever. Answer 3, you're the life and soul of the party, and to you, strangers are just friends that you haven't met yet. And answer 4, you dream big and you can easily persuade them and anyone else to follow your lead. So go ahead and choose or write down the answer that most resonates with you. Question 2, when it comes to money, you believe, answer 1, the best things in life are free. Answer 2, a penny saved is a penny earned. Answer 3, you can't take it with you, so enjoy it now. And answer 4, you have to spend money to make money. So just choose your answer or write down from 1 to 4 what most resonates with you. And more than one may resonate with you. Just choose the answer that comes to your mind first. Question 3. You hear about an amazing investment opportunity, and there's a chance you could make thousands of dollars in just a few weeks. You answer 1, ask everyone if they think you should invest, and you feel so confused you end up doing nothing. Answer 2, learn as much as you can about it and carefully weigh out the good and the bad before making a decision. Answer 3, feel excited and enthusiastic about the idea, so you dive right in without a second thought. And answer 4, give it some thought, but decide not to invest. You're too busy running your business or your home to add investing to your overflowing to-do list. So choose that answer that resonates with you or write that down 1 to 4. Question 4, when you visualize manifesting lots of money, you see yourself giving gifts to everyone you know. Answer 1. Answer 2, making that money grow to create lasting wealth. Answer 3, taking that first-class trip around the world. Or answer 4, using money to make your big world life-changing vision a reality. So again, just choose the one that is the first thing that comes to your mind. In question 5, the rich or wealthy are mostly, answer 1, selfish. The world would be a better place if they use their wealth to help others more. Answer 2, irresponsible. They spend their money on whatever they want without considering the consequences. Answer 3, exciting. Their wealth lets them enjoy life to the fullest. And answer 4, ambitious. That's how they got rich in the first place. So again, choose the one that most resonates with you, even though more than one may. And question 6 out of 8. If you lost half the money you have in your bank account right now, you would. Answer 1, you wouldn't have enough money to pay the rent, and you'd have to ask friends and family to return some of the money that they borrowed from you. Answer 2, you wouldn't worry too much because you have money saved in multiple places. Answer 3, you wouldn't be too stressed because you know you'll replace it somehow. There's always more money out there. And answer 4, you'd be okay. Half is more than enough because you have lots in your account to begin with. So again, which is the one that most feels like you? And then question 7, if you could, you'd love to experience each day feeling more. Answer 1, confident and empowered. Answer 2, worthy and deserving. Answer 3, loved and taken care of. Or answer 4, fulfilled and satisfied. And the final question, which of the following feels most like truth? Answer 1, one love, one heart, one destiny. Answer 2, with hard work and dedication, anything is possible. Answer 3, life is meant to be enjoyed. Or answer 4, do one thing every day that scares you. So if you're following along on the quiz, to get your results, you can just put your name and email in, and you will get an email with those results. And a page will open up right away for you to briefly read a little bit about your primary sacred wealth virtue. And if you did follow along, writing down your answers, I'll tell you what those were in just a second. But we would love to hear what your results are. So please share in the comments what your results are. My primary wealth virtue is exuberance. So if you kept track of your answers by writing them down, just tally up which number you had the most of. If you had the most of answer 1, you are love. And I'm going to talk about what these are here in just a little bit. I'm going to go even a little bit deeper into these archetypes down the information you received if you took the quiz. If you had the most of answer 2, you are devotion. And if you had the most of answer 3, you are exuberance, like me. And if you had the most of answer 4, you are fortitude. So let us know what you got there. And I'm going to try to keep an eye on the comments a little bit in my group. I'm only going to be able to watch one live stream at a time, but that's probably where most of the people are joining me. So lots of love. I've really noticed that that's kind of been, I have a few posts in my group asking people to share the results that they got. And it seems like the majority of the people, most people got the result of love in my group. It seems to be the strongest archetype that people are, at least that people are sharing, was their answer in my group. So I'm going to be sharing the details around each one of those archetypes in just a minute. So all of us have some of all of the virtues. We all have these virtues, and we can also unlock those positive qualities of each of those virtues by working with those archetypes. But we're going to most strongly identify usually with one of those. And sometimes during different times of our life, or when we've done the work, what we identify with may change. So something really interesting has happened that quite a few people have shared with me over the last couple of weeks since I've been sharing this quiz again. So as I said, I first created this system and this quiz and a program all around the sacred wealth virtue archetypes 5 years ago. And quite a few people took that class back then. And a lot of people took the quiz. And I've had several people share with me that the answer that they got this time around, after coming through the program and doing the work around these virtues, that their answer actually changed. And this is proof that doing this work really can change our relationship with money. And so I would love to hear if that happened for you, because I know quite a few of you guys shared with me that that happened. And that's really exciting to me because that just shows how our relationship with money can grow and evolve and change. And we can really begin to embody some of the qualities that come along with each one of those virtues. So we can gain a lot by learning to embrace and work with and eventually embody all of the virtues. So, for example, I most strongly identify with the virtue of exuberance. And I felt that I really had an opportunity to work on embracing the qualities of devotion. So I began using some of the manifestation practices for the wealth virtue of devotion. And I go through different manifestation practices and journal questions, and I have tasks or kind of basically assignments each week for that correlate with each virtue for what we're working on that week in the course. And I did that work around the archetype of devotion. And I noticed that it really drastically changed my relationship with money. So, for example, I really worked on mastering the associated virtues of prudence, which is wise or careful in conduct around my money, shrewd or thrifty in planning ahead. So, exuberance oftentimes is about just really that enjoyment of life, enjoying your money. But the shadow side of that can be that you're not necessarily very careful with your money and you haven't planned ahead very well financially. So I really worked on those qualities that the archetype of devotion really strongly has. Responsibility in my finances. In fact, I created a whole entire series of wealth alignments, the Unlocking and Unwinding series, through my work with the sacred wealth virtue archetypes, and really working with those the virtues, like responsibility, all of the different virtues that go along with those archetypes. And I ended up creating a whole series of alignments that are really working strongly with those. And I'm going to be using that series in the course. And this is something that I hadn't created when I taught this before. I created it through the work that I did and learned in teaching this class. So I'm going to go ahead and describe in more depth than what you received in the PDF that you got if you took the quiz, each archetype. So I'd love to hear in the comments, because I created this system just in my own research and in working with thousands of people over the last decade around wealth and abundance. And so it's really great feedback for me when you guys can share what resonates with you around the virtue archetype that you got the answer for. And as I'm going through the virtues, you will notice that you identify with some of probably at least a couple of them, if not all of them. So I'm going to start with going through the virtue of love. And for each virtue, I'm going to talk about signs of what it looks like, sort of the shadow side or the underbelly side of that archetype, and then what it looks like when you're really in balance, and the positive attributes of that that archetype. So I'm going to start with love. So love, and I'm going to talk about the underbelly, the shadow side of this archetype. So when you're out of alignment or out of the flow, you might feel depleted, exhausted, and begin to become resentful of other people. Signs that you're out of alignment with when you have this virtue is, or when you're kind of working through this virtue, is that you're overgiving. You may have inappropriate boundaries. You may be neglecting yourself and your own needs. You may even be operating in the energy of self-punishment and self-sacrifice. Let me know if you identify with any of these things. Some signs of that are overcommitment, overwhelms you and blocks your flow of energy. So you might feel overwhelmed because you've overcommitted your time, your energy, or your money even. And when we block our flow of energy, we're blocking our flow of money at the same time. You may feel that you've lost your unique identity and become over-identified with the people in your life. You might take on their problems, either energetically or literally trying to solve their problems for them or do, something that they're responsible for. You may take on their emotions, their thoughts. You may even possibly take on their debts, financial, spiritual, emotional, or energetic. You give and sacrifice yourself to others, including sacrificing your health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, or even your financial health. You may be helping others to the point of sacrificing your own health and financial situation. And when that happens, then you're giving from a place of lack. You're giving what you literally don't have to give. And you spiral into an ever-growing state of depletion. You can become so enmeshed with other people that you lose yourself. And you don't know who you are when you're not helping someone. You may tend to attract people that drain you or find yourself in codependent relationships. You become resentful of the people that you're helping or serving. And the role of martyr might end up seeping into your being, creating a need to make sacrifices endlessly. So let me know if you've ever fallen into any of those patterns. And I have fallen into those patterns because we all have all of these different virtues, different aspects of them within us. So if you have this archetype or you're really working with this archetype, when you are in alignment, when you're really in balance, you have a beautiful, generous heart and you love taking care of other people. You often set aside your own desires when you're out of balance, but when you are not out of balance, you're able to give while receiving at the same time. You experience tremendous joy and satisfaction when you get the chance to assist, love, and support other people in need. You have a huge positive impact in the world when you're in flow and in balance when you're working with this archetype. And at the same time, you also feel loved, supported, and recharged. So you're not overgiving. You're not giving to the point of your own depletion. You're not giving from lack. You live generously, and you are a true philanthropist. Your loyalty is unparalleled. You are dependable. You're kind. You lift people up. And you have the ability to gracefully receive while at the same time being a giving heart. You spread love and joy to everyone around you. You help people see the best in themselves and that they are truly whole. You're very accepting and non-judgmental, and people trust you because of this. You're a natural nurturer. Your love language is likely acts of service. And your generous spirit is admirable and a huge force for good in the world. So let me know if that resonates with you, or if you'd like to move more into being and feeling that way. So next I'm going to focus on the sacred wealth virtue of devotion. So let me know if you are if that was your result in the quiz, and let me know what one of these things that you identify with. So I'm going to start again with this shadow side of devotion and the areas where we have the opportunity for growth when we're working with this archetype. So when you're out of balance, you may feel worried, anxious, and fearful around money. You might engage in behaviors such as hoarding. You may find yourself in a very judgmental frame of mind, and you may restrict fun and enjoyment. You can become too rigid, never allowing yourself to indulge in things or experiences that bring you joy and happiness, almost that self-punishment energy. You fear not having or being enough, and this fear can keep you up at night, can make you feel paralyzed with worry and anxiety during the day. You could become critical and judgmental of your own and other people's financial life choices, and you might end up alienating yourself through or because of this judgment. You have a fear of spending money, even on things you or your family needs. And when you're out of alignment in this way, you're blocking yourself from receiving money, abundance, and even love. You might hoard the resources that you have, including your energy and your love, because you're just so tightly feeling like you need to hold on to everything. You might have difficulty opening your heart, and this can leave you feeling isolated. You might find it really difficult to live from or make decisions from your heart because you're so much in your head with that worry and anxiety. And this can leave you feeling cut off from yourself and your own divinity. Really an inability to connect to source even sometimes, or to feel that connection to source. We're always only ever connected to source, but you might have an inability to feel that connection when you're living in the shadow of this archetype. You might feel like you have to do it all yourself, that there's no one that you can rely on. You might feel like you can't trust the universe, and this lack of trust leaves you feeling unsafe. So let me know if you've ever fallen into any of those patterns. And I know I have. And that's why I was really called to work on this particular archetype. I've probably done the deepest work around the shadow side of devotion, and that's created some of the biggest change for me, even though I identify most strongly with the archetype of exuberance. So when you're working from or with the archetype of devotion, the beauty and the magic of this archetype when you're in alignment is that you're organized, you're determined, and you're devoted to your goals and your dreams. Saving money comes easily to you, and you might even know where every dollar that comes in goes. Being responsible with your finances gives you a sense of joy, satisfaction, safety, and security. And this energy flows into the lives of people around you. Friends and family rely on you to be the responsible one. But when you're not in the underbelly, the shadow side of that, you're able to stand up and be responsible for the things that you have the ability to be without overburdening yourself. You have a very good relationship with money, and you feel good about the way that money is working for you. You're really good at creating methods, systems, and solutions. You're solution oriented. You have an innate ability to work with the universal laws to be a true master co-creator of your experience and your life. You're probably a great listener and are deeply appreciative when other people really listen to you, when you feel heard. Your primary love language is probably words of affirmation or possibly acts of service. When it comes to money, you're excellent at making your money work for you. And you probably do well working with a budget. So let me know if you're working on those things or if that sounds like something that that you really identify with. So next I'm going to talk about the virtue of exuberance. So let me know if you got this answer in the quiz or if you identify with some of these things that I'm going to talk about. And again, I'll start with the shadow side or the underbelly of this particular archetype. So when you're out of alignment, when you're out of flow, you might feel unloved, unaccepted, or deprived. When you're out of balance, you're likely engaging in overspending. You might feel unable to prioritize, and you might find yourself really going into fear of going without. You probably have a deep-rooted fear of being deprived or in pain. When you're out of alignment, you will seek ways to distract yourself, to avoid pain and deprivation, even if these ways are unhealthy. Since you can see many options at once, it can be difficult for you to choose one, especially when you're out of balance. You may feel like you're unable to make the right choice. When you're out of alignment with your divinity, you're out of touch with your inner guidance. And this creates a really deep anxiety. And you may try to cover it up with excuses or even addictions. You may attempt to keep yourself and your mind busy all the time. Again, another way to distract ourselves when we're in an imbalance with this virtue. You may be unwilling or even feel unable to say no to yourself, possibly spending money that's meant for your bills on non-essential luxury items or charging up your credit cards, leaving yourself in a stressful situation. And this can really snowball if you attempt to further distract yourself from the self-created financial or other types of chaos. When you get bored, you might make a reckless decision, such as spontaneously quitting your job or throwing a towel in on your business. These types of decisions may have heavy financial impact. People may begin to see you as unreliable. And again, this can lead to feeling isolated. So let me know if any of these patterns are something that you've experienced, and maybe you've overcome some of these things. I'd love to hear that as well, especially if you were in my Sacred Wealth Virtues course when I taught it 5 years ago, and you've noticed that difference in your relationship with money in that time. So exuberance, the positive side of working with or from this archetype. When you're in alignment, luxury and excitement flow freely into your life, and everyone sees you as the life of the party in a good way. People are irresistibly drawn to your natural magnetism. You're comfortable using money for pleasure and know how to make yourself and others feel truly special and celebrated without overspending. When you're in the flow, money moves in and out of your life in divine balance and harmony. And you can experience pleasure with money without going into debt or feeling like you have to dip into savings or money that's meant for other things. You naturally get people excited and motivated. This may make you really good at authentic sales, and you may be really inspirational as a leader to other people. You help people look at life in new and exciting ways. You enjoy change. You might even get bored if things get too routine, which can go into the underbelly again. But when you're embracing positive change, you're able to create change in the world very quickly as well. You enjoy life and you trust the universe to take care of you. You can be a really positive cheerleader for other people. You probably value freedom, and your love language may be words of affirmation or giving gifts. When it comes to money, you are the archetype that probably gets the most fun out of money in your life. When you can give yourself permission to buy things that you love without overindulging and overspending, or just really Get enjoyment out of the small things that money could buy, like a really good cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be some large expenditure when you're in balance to bring you that joy. If you are an entrepreneur, you likely are really good at making your clients' experiences special and probably really enjoy giving extra touches that may feel luxurious to the people that are working with you. And this really creates a really positive relationship with the people that you're working with. People are drawn to you, and you may find it easy to attract people and experiences and opportunities into your life. So let me know if that resonates with you, if you have those experiences, or if you would like to have those experiences, because we can create those experiences through our work with the virtues. And then finally, I'm going to talk about fortitude. And again, the underbelly or the shadow side of this archetype. When you're out of alignment, let me know if you got this answer in the quiz. And according to the polls that I've had going in my group, this is probably the least amount of people in my Facebook group have gotten this archetype. And I have some theories as to why, but I'd love to know if you got this archetype and if you identify with what I'm going to talk about here. So when you're out of the flow, you feel distracted, isolated, like you're never enough. You might engage in overworking, self-deprivation, and feel dissatisfied. When you get your worth and value from what you're creating, this can lead financially, from when you get your worth and value basically from your financial picture, this can lead to feelings of unworthiness because this is outside of yourself. When you can claim and accept your intrinsic worth, your financial success will increase dramatically. When you're out of balance, you need to stay busy. And so you take on too much responsibility. So exuberance has that need to stay busy, and they distract themselves with trying to seek fun and pleasure and distraction. But fortitude has the need to stay busy, and they try to fill that need by taking on too much responsibility. This drains you, sets you up to become resentful and angry. Being out of alignment with your own divinity results in you spinning your wheels and creating nothing, or being very busy without any results or productivity, just that busyness for the sake of busyness. Let me know if you've fallen into that pattern at any time in your life, and you may have resolved that and moved out of that pattern. Choice can become difficult when you're out of alignment, and you might notice that as a theme amongst all of the different archetypes. Making choices becomes difficult when we're out of alignment because we can't tap into our inner knowing as easily. And for fortitude, you may see many possibilities and you don't want to miss out on any of them. So you don't want to rule any of them out, that fear of missing out. In other words, there's so many possibilities and you want to keep all of your options open so you are unable to make a decision. You can become impatient with yourself and others. This can lead to judgment of yourself or other people. You may have unrealistic expectations of yourself or other people. And if you go on for too long in this way, in these patterns, you can become reclusive. So let me know if those patterns identify with how you have lived or how maybe you are living now. And again, we can change that by working with the virtues and flip it into the positive side of this archetype, which is you are a powerful natural born leader. You could be a successful entrepreneur or boss in the job that you work in, or CEO or CFO of your family. Chances are you may have created some type of empire already. You're a big picture thinker, and you can see potential and possibility where other people may only see obstacles or chaos. And you also have what it takes to bring your vision to life. When you're in the flow, you have time and energy to enjoy and play with money, and that you've accumulated through your hard work, and you will easily inspire other people with the passion for what you're creating in the world. You are a magical, powerful creator, and when you're really in alignment, you can create almost instantly. You're probably an inspiration to many people. You can be idealistic. Other people probably come to you for advice. You are the big idea person. You are intuitive and you have good judgment. You have the ability to see a situation for what it truly is. Your love language may be quality time, or it may be acts of service. And when it comes to money, you have the ability to see and understand money as the physical energy that it is, and you attract it easily when you're in alignment. So those are all 4 of the virtues, both the underbelly and the positive side. So let me know. A lot of you guys are sharing. Jennifer says, I think at some point I've experienced a bit of all of the shadow sides. Absolutely. And that's what's amazing about doing this work, is because we've all experienced some of these patterns from all of the different virtues. And by focusing on working with specific virtues that I have identified that go along with each one of these archetypes, we can change that, and we can go into the positive qualities of all of them, really. So as I said, I created a program 5 years ago, and I'm finally now, 5 years later, revisiting this system, and I'm going to be teaching this class again live. I've completely recreated the class. I haven't recreated the system because it is really pretty flawless, but I've recreated all of the healings, and it's an entirely new program. So we are actually going to be starting this program in 2 weeks. I'm going to put the link in Zoom to the registration page. And we're starting just two weeks from now, actually, I think a little bit less than 2 weeks from now, on, 1 day shy of 2 weeks. We're starting on September 27th. So when I originally taught this program, it was a 4-week program, but I've learned, I knew at the time, but I've really realized how important it is for all of us to work through all of the different archetypes. And so I have actually made this I've extended it into a 4-month program. So the way that's going to work is we will meet together. Those of you who will join me, we will meet together every week on every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, starting September 27th, in less than 2 weeks from now. Every Wednesday, and every week there will be 4 modules of teaching and healing that are unlocked for you for each of the 4 archetypes. So love, devotion, exuberance, and fortitude. Each one of those will have a video, healing, and activity assignments for that virtue for that week. And I was just really sitting with this, and it was just a few days ago that I actually decided to extend it into 4 months, because I was thinking, how can I really encourage people to continue on after the 4 weeks and keep going through each one of the archetypes? So, because there's so much value, and you may actually even find even more value going through some of the other archetypes than you did even with your primary archetype. And you can dramatically change your relationship with money and with life itself by doing this. Money is just the focus of this program, with some of the belief work and the assignments that I'm giving, but it will transform all areas of your life. It will transform your relationships. It will transform your psychic, intuitive, and healing abilities by working with all of the archetypes. So I decided to add on a live call once a month for the following 3 months. So we'll go together 4 weeks in a row, At the end of those 4 weeks, all of the materials will be unlocked. And so say you spend your first 4 weeks going through the archetype of love. And then when you're done with that, choose the next archetype. And you could spend the next 4 weeks going through the archetype of devotion. And then we'll have that live call for you to ask any questions. I'll be doing healing on those calls as well. And then that will hopefully keep everybody motivated to continue through and do the entire program. Because that's where the deep change is going to come. And so I actually literally decided to add these additional 3 months on less than a week ago. I did not change the price. The price of this program is just $333 for an entire 4-month program. And you really get, so originally the class was sort of designed that you get you go through the archetype that you identify with most. So you're getting all of the materials, all of the healing, all of the videos, everything for all 4 archetypes will be unlocked by the end of those 4 weeks. And so then you can choose the next one to go through and do that for the next 3 months in a row. And I don't recommend, so a lot of times I'll tell people you can go through the program faster if you want to, like with the healing program. With this program, I'm telling people not to go faster because it's important to do the work to really embody the different virtues that we're working with. It's deep work, and there are homework assignments that go along with each virtue, and they're nothing dramatic. It's not going to take hours of your time, but I do invite you to be present with each one and spend that time listening to the healing, doing the assignments, and really go deep with working with these virtues. And as soon as you start doing it, you're going to see just how life-changing it is, and that is going to motivate you to keep going. So I'm excited about doing it this way. And I also have a couple of bonuses for the program. One of them is on the registration page, and that's the pay in full bonus. But I also have sort of an early action bonus if you sign up before Tuesday, September 19th. So in the next 5 days, and you will not see this on the registration page, but you'll get immediate access as soon as you register to my Wealth Codes workshop. This is a workshop that you'll get the immediate access to this recorded workshop and the healing, and there's a few different things inside this program in Kajabi that you'll get immediately. It's a 90-minute workshop to learn the sacred art of encoding the energy of conscious wealth into all aspects of your being. And this is a workshop that is unlike anything else I've ever done. So I mentioned that I created a modality that I've actually been working on for 3 years now, and I'm getting ready to teach it before the end of this year. Just hint, hint. I'm going to be teaching that certification class finally for Sacred Soul Symbols. But in this workshop, I actually guided everyone through a journey to channel or receive their own wealth symbol. And I also give you in that program the Sacred Soul Symbol wealth code that you can work with in addition to your own wealth code symbol that you receive. And I did a ton of healing in that workshop as well. So if you register in the next 5 days, you get that access to that immediately. And if you pay in full, so there is also a 2 payment option. So it's 1 payment of $333 or 2 payments, I think, of $183. So if you pay in full, you also get a program that I mentioned. I created a whole series of alignments there's 21 alignments called the Unwinding and Unlocking series. And I created a whole entire program out of these alignments, and it's called 21 Days to Infinite Abundance. So it's 21 recordings that are about 5 to 8 minutes long. So they're meant to be done every day in a row for 21 days in a row. And it's not like if you miss a day, you don't have to start over, but they're meant to be done consecutively for unwinding money trauma and unlocking infinite abundance. So if you pay in full, you also get immediate access to that program that I created. And all of those alignments I created because of the work that I did in the original Sacred Wealth Virtues course. So if you want to know more about the program, you can click on the registration page, and that's above this video if you're watching the live stream or the replay, or below it on YouTube. There's a link in the description of this video. And if you're on Zoom, I dropped the link in there, and I'll also be emailing it out with the replay. So if you have any questions, you can just respond to the email that you'll get with the replay, or you can ask a question in the comments, whether you're here live or watching the replay. So that's the program. Those are the bonuses. We start in less than 2 weeks on September 27th. And personally, I can't wait to go through all of this again. I'm going to be working for myself on the archetype of fortitude. And I can't wait to bring in all of the new healing that I've created. And I'm going to be really utilizing all the tools that I have at my fingertips. And that is sacred soul alignments, sacred light technologies, and healing tools. And there's a ton of new sacred light technologies that have come in the last few months. I'm going to be utilizing sacred soul symbols, which are themselves technologies. They're kind of a combination of technology and healing tool. I'm going to be using a couple of those with you today. So I'm going to be sharing the images of those when I get to that point in the healing. And I'm going to be utilizing, of course, sacred soul alignments. So let's get to the healing today. It's going to take probably 20 to up to 30 minutes of the healing. I'm going to be recording it separately. And any of you who do join me for the program, you will get the healing that we're doing today. It will be available for you inside the Sacred Wealth Virtues program by the end of the day tomorrow. So you'll see it there if you want to repeat the healing if you're joining me for the program. So I'm going to be playing a couple of crystal bowls here. And some of the work that we're going to do today is going to involve some journaling. So I invite you to get a pen and paper out, something to write with, if you want to partake in that part of it. And I'm going to be using all of my tools, including a somatic practice that I teach in Sacred Soul Alignment that I call the energetic release technique. So we're going to be working with what you're feeling in your body. So if you can find somewhere that is quiet, that you'll be able to go through this healing uninterrupted, you will get more out of it. Of course, the replay will be available, so you'll be able to come back and repeat it if you're not in that space right now. So we're going to dive into the healing, and just a reminder, just to really stay in integrity with this work, that by listening to this recording, you are giving me permission to connect to your higher self for the purpose of sending you the healing. Please don't be driving while you're listening to this healing, even if you're used to doing energy work, because you just never know how something new or receiving it in a new way is going to affect you. All right, so I'm going to guide us all into the heart of creation. Good. This is Alicia Hartzell, and this is healing for the Sacred Wealth Virtues. So just take a moment to get comfortable, sitting up with your spine straight and your feet flat on the ground or lying flat. Settling into your body, bringing all of your awareness into the present moment, and just relax. Closing your eyes, allowing yourself to land right here, right now. Allowing your body to relax even more. And now placing your focus and awareness onto your heart, and just breathe. allowing your breath to slow and deepen, breathing as if you're breathing directly from your heart. Allowing your inhale and exhale to slow to about a count of 5. Continuing this long, slow, deep breath through your heart as you bring your awareness to the energy of compassion. Compassion is one of the highest frequencies that we have access to and one of the building blocks of creation. I invite you to see, sense, feel, or imagine the energy of compassion as a beautiful pink light surrounding you. And as you breathe through your heart, just using your intention to breathe that pink light of compassion into your heart, allowing this energy to fill and expand your heart. And with your next breath, allowing this energy of compassion to expand into every cell of your body, feeling the cells of your body vibrating with the frequency of compassion. And with your focus and awareness on your heart, feeling into the heart-to-heart connection between your heart and the heart of Gaia, and your heart and the heart of creation. Noticing the beautiful golden light in the heart of Gaia and the glorious iridescent light in the heart of creation. And with your next breath, simultaneously begin to breathe this golden light from Gaia and iridescent light from the heart of creation into your heart. And as you breathe these energies into your heart, allowing the golden light from Gaia and iridescent light from the heart of creation to merge with the pink light of compassion, creating a beautiful iridescent rose gold light. Allowing this light to expand your heart even more. And with your next inhale, allowing this light to fill all the cells of your body. Allowing this beautiful iridescent rose gold light to expand beyond your physical body, going 12 feet out in all directions, filling your entire toroidal field, your entire energy field, creating a beautiful iridescent rose gold ball of light that you are in the center of. And just taking a moment here to notice how loved, nurtured, safe, and protected you are in this space. And as you continue breathing through your heart, imagining the beautiful iridescent light flowing down from the heart of creation, connecting you with the energy of all that is, with potential, with possibility, with pure source energy, allowing this energy to move through your entire pillar of light, traveling all the way down into the heart of Gaia. And imagining the beautiful golden light from the heart of Gaia flowing up, connecting you with the infinite wisdom, wealth, knowledge, and abundance that Gaia holds, coming all the way up through your entire pillar of light and traveling all the way up into the heart of creation. And as these energies flow in, through, and around you, witnessing the beautiful ball of light that you are in, expanding with every breath you take. Good. Now I invite you to feel into the heart-to-heart connection between your human aspect and your divine aspect, the highest aspect of you that's guiding you through your human experience. And with your next breath, allowing your human aspect to merge with your divine aspect. And through that merge, allowing yourself to expand infinitely. Good. Expanding all the way into the heart of creation, expanding all the way into the quantum field where all potential and possibility exists. And as we move into the healing, just staying in your heart, breathing through your heart, connected to the energy of all that is, just breathe and allow yourself to expand into the energy of all potential and possibility. Good. I'm going to start with bringing in Sacred Light Open and Divine Love and Light. Thank you. And this is a collection of energy, tools, and technologies that help open you up to receiving the healing. It's activating several technologies as well. And I'm going to create a healing container for us to do this work in. Good. So in Divine Love and Light, calling in the Sacred Light Vortex, Sacred Light Purify and Protect, Sacred Light Healing Cocoon, Sacred Light Open Doors to open each of you individually to the most optimal outcome for this healing. Sacred Light Intention Alignment Tool to align you to the highest timeline for working with these virtues and to align with your intentions for wealth and abundance that you're creating in your life. And also Sacred Light Calibrate to create. So in Divine Love and Light, activating all of these Sacred Light technologies now, creating a healing cocoon, a healing chamber and container for all of us. And I'm going to also bring in and activate a sacred soul symbol. This is called the Wealth Code. So if you have your eyes closed, you can just open your eyes for just a moment so that you can receive the energy of this sacred soul symbol and allow it to activate in your energy field. And this is actually my first public sneak peek of a card deck that I've been working on for sacred soul symbols. So you guys are seeing this for the first time. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it and how it feels. Good. So just really allowing that to activate in your system. Good. All right. So no matter what archetype that you're most identifying with or working with right now, we all carry some form of guilt or shame around money. And this can be one of the biggest blocks to receiving money. So I want to start with clearing that energy. Guilt and shame are the densest, lowest vibratory emotions, and they take up a lot of space in our field. They can really block us from receiving. So I'm going to invite you to drop down into your heart and allow yourself to think about the ways that you might be holding on to guilt or shame around the way you may have handled money or your relationship with money. If you have something to write with, I invite you to write these down. This really does help us connect with our thoughts on a whole different plane. So I'm just going to play the bowls for a minute and allow everyone to really sink into any guilt or shame that you might be holding about money. Now, it could be the way that you've handled money in the past, or maybe are handling money. Could be guilt or shame around debt, or it could be guilt or shame around not being able to provide your family or your children or yourself with even the necessities. Or it might be guilt or shame around the lack of money in some way, losing money, bankruptcy, inability to pay your bills, losing a job, divorce. Just allow your mind to kind of preview or go back in time, especially over the last 3 to 5 years. Just jot down a couple of thoughts. So if you're identifying with the virtue of love, what's coming to mind might be times when you've overgiven, harboring resentment, creating situations where you've helped other people in order to feel loved or needed, maybe even punished yourself, maybe gone into debt that you couldn't afford, making a poor decision around giving when it wasn't appropriate. So I'm going to call in here my guilt and shame release alignment here. And I'm going to invite you to just begin paying attention to how you're feeling in your body as you review some of these emotions. So in divine love and light, calling in guilt and shame release now. Thank you. Good. And I'm going to bring in a couple more technologies here. I'm going to call in the Sacred Light Transfiguration device, Sacred Light Excavation, and the Sacred Light Spinning Top. And these are going to help the healing go even deeper and more individualized to these patterns that may be playing out in your life. And just allow yourself to really admit to yourself what you're feeling. And noticing where you're feeling it in your body, noticing how strong this feeling is in your body on a scale of 1 to 10. You can just make a mental note of where that feels, where you're feeling it in your body and how strong it is. It might feel like heaviness, tightness, even pain. Just knowing that all of these technologies are working. They're working with the sacred soul alignment, guilt and shame release. So as you sit with this feeling, begin to send yourself forgiveness. I'm going to send in the forgiveness alignment here in divine love and light. Thank you. When we're working on forgiveness, it can be helpful to bring in the ancient Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono prayer. And those words are, just send this energy to yourself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. Good. I'm going to bring in another sacred soul symbol here, and I'm going to share my screen to take this healing broader. And this is called the sacred soul symbol spirals. And what this is doing is it's spiraling the energy throughout your entire family lineage. Good. And also throughout all timelines, dimensions, and realities where any aspect of you has ever existed. And it's also spiraling the energies through the patterns that are clearing. Good. So if you have identified with the virtue of devotion, or if you're working with this archetype today, consider times when you've been judgmental or critical of yourself or others. When have you not allowed yourself to enjoy life or been too harsh with yourself or others? When have you gotten stuck in a cycle of fear, worry, and anxiety? I'm going to call in my loops of fear, worry, and anxiety alignment here. So in Divine Love and Light, calling in this alignment now and running it through all of the sacred light technologies that are working and through the sacred soul symbol spirals. So some of you have received some of these alignments before, and I would love to hear from you how it may feel differently when I'm running these healings through both the sacred light technologies and the sacred soul spiral symbol. This is the first time that I have used all of these tools in combination in a public event. So I would love to hear how it feels to you and if you can really feel that energy going deeper. Because these technologies and these symbols really, really take all of the alignments and the work that I'm bringing forward, and they take it deeper and they take it wider. And they also really help to individualize the healing down to the specific patterns that each person is working with. So for the archetype of exuberance, you may be holding on to feelings of being unloved or unaccepted, or guilt or shame around spending too much or being irresponsible with money, feeling like you can't handle your finances. And you may have anger at yourself or others. So I'm going to call in anger and resentment release, alignment, and Divine Love and Light. Thank you. Good. I'm just running all of this through the Sacred Light Technologies and the spiral symbol. So just really feeling into your body, dropping back into your body if you've gone into your mind at all, allowing this energy to dissipate. The stuck energy that you were feeling in your body when you began feeling into that guilt and shame. There may have been other emotions that have come up for you: worry, fear, anxiety, anger, resentment. There's a lot of energy moving here, and all of these tools are working really strongly to help clear this at the deepest layers and levels. So just pay attention to how your body is feeling and rate that feeling in your body. Again, noticing that it's probably shifted to a lower number, may even be gone. I'm going to bring in the sacred soul alignment, flush unwanted feelings away. Divine Love and Light, thank you. Good. So if you're working with fortitude, or if you're identifying with this archetype, you may have had feelings of isolation, being never enough, unworthiness, or dissatisfaction with yourself, others, or life. So just allow yourself to bring those feelings up. Notice how your body is feeling, sending yourself love. I'm going to call in the broken release alignment and Divine Love and Light. Thank you. So this is releasing the feelings that we're broken, that there's something wrong with us, that we need to be fixed, bringing in the knowledge that we are whole, perfect, and untarnished just as we are, even as we're working through old programming, old patterns. Running all of this through the technologies and this sacred soul symbol spiral. Good. So that is some primary clearing for each one of the archetypes. And now I want to bring in some positive wealth energy. And I chose 4 alignments from the Unlocking Infinite Wealth series that go with each one of the archetypes. So I'm going to bring in unlocking worthiness. Divine love and light, calling this in now. Thank you. This alignment brings in and activates what it feels like to be worthy, to be seen, heard, known, understood, and loved for who you are in this moment. What it feels like to see yourself through source perspective, to truly love and accept yourself. It's activating the cellular memories of all times when you have felt truly worthy in any incarnation and on a soul level. It brings in the energies of true self-worth, self-love, and self-respect, and what it feels like to live and see yourself as a human expression of the divine. Good. I'm going to bring in all of these. We're running through all of the technologies and the spiral symbol, really spiraling that energy into all aspects of our being and into all timelines. I call in unlocking, handling wealth responsibly. Divine love and light, thank you. This alignment brings in and activates what it feels like to have the knowledge and ability to receive, create, and manage wealth responsibly from a place of your own sovereignty, and what it feels like to unlock wealth and financial prosperity in your life. It's activating the cellular memories of all times when you have received, created, and managed wealth responsibly, while at the same time dissolving traumas associated with wealth and being wealthy. Good. And now calling in unlocking financial freedom. Divine love and light, thank you. This alignment brings in the energy of true financial freedom, independent of reliance on governments, companies, other people, any being or entity in order to feel and be financially free. That you're worthy, deserving, safe, and allowed to experience true financial freedom. To be in your own sovereign power and independence, and to recognize your own unique power to achieve your goals and dreams in a way that supports your highest good and the highest good of all. Activating cellular memories of all times where you have been or felt financially free. Good. And now calling in unlocking highest desires. Divine love and light, thank you. This alignment works with your divine aspect through your own source connection to align you with your highest aligned desires from your soul and source perspective, bringing in discernment, belief, and expectation to support you in bringing these aligned desires into fruition. It's activating the cellular memories in all times where you have lived in alignment with your highest desires and created those desires in your reality. Good. And now I'm going to bring in ground yourself and stabilize your emotions. Just really grounding and anchoring in all of this energy and just taking one more time to check in with your body, noticing probably how much lighter you feel, how much more hopeful you feel. I'm going to bring in the golden Christ light activation here to really infuse every cell of your body with the high frequency of golden Christ light. And I'm going to bring in one more sacred soul symbol, and that is a reset. We're going to use this symbol to reset your financial set point with all of these new higher energy patterns. So just take a moment to allow that energy to anchor into your field of this reset symbol. And just remember, these images are graphic representations of multidimensional technologies that are working with your soul. So it's literally right now resetting your financial set point to a higher set point than you had before you began this healing. Good. And I'm going to share the wealth codes symbol one more time after we've done all this work to allow it to anchor into your energy field in a new way. Activating the wealth code symbol now. Good. And now anchoring all of this in with sacred light close. In divine love and light, anchoring this into your heart and your higher heart, your mind and your higher mind, into every cell of your body and every area of your life. Anchoring this into your Earth Star chakra, into your soul grid, and into the heart of Gaia, and into all dimensions where any aspect of you exists. Good. So when you're ready, just bringing all of your awareness back into this present moment, into your surroundings. Begin to wake up your body back up if it's fallen asleep. And just noticing how expansive you feel. And as you opening your eyes to a whole new financial reality that you will go and create. All right, good. I would really love to hear from those of you who are listening live or on the replay, how you're feeling, your experience with using all of those tools in combination. And just one more reminder about the Sacred Wealth Virtues program. We begin in less than 2 weeks on September 27th. It's a 4-month program. We meet every week consecutively for 4 weeks, starting September 27th, and then once a month thereafter, so that you will have the motivation to go through all 4 virtues. So I'm including all 4 archetypes and all of the healing and lessons for each one, for everyone. The class is either one payment of $333 or 2 payments of I think it's $183. If you pay in full, you do get the 21 days to unlocking infinite wealth program. And if you sign up in the next 5 days before Tuesday, September 19th, you also get the Wealth Codes workshop. You'll get both of those things immediately unlocked for you. And throughout the program, I will be unlocking 16 in-depth video trainings and healings for each one of the archetypes. And you will receive 7 live support calls that will take you all the way into January 2024. So wrapping up this year and preparing to go into the next year really as a whole, fresh, completely new person if you work through all of the archetypes in every way, not just in your relationship with money, but in your relationship with life itself. And every aspect of your life and all of your relationships will change pretty dramatically by doing this work. So I'm going to put the link in Zoom if you want to take a look at the registration page. And I will be sharing more. I'll be popping in here over the next couple of weeks with some additional healings, some additional trainings, probably on each one of the virtues. I'll be coming in just for pop-in classes. So watch in the group for that. I will be emailing some reminders out about those things that happen, but not for each one of them. So watch the group. I'll create a guide in my Facebook group, Sacred Soul Alignment with Alicia Hartzell, that will have all of the replays there for you for this experience over the next couple of weeks, which is what I always do when I'm preparing to teach a class. I like to give people an experience of what that class is going to be like and learn more about it. I will answer these questions about the deck here in just a second, the card deck with the symbols. If you came through the live class 5 years ago, not the self-study version, just the live class, because the self-study version, I did a couple of flash sales and you would have gotten that class at a much lower investment for the self-study version. But if you came through the live class, you do qualify for a 33% discount on the coming back through the program. It's a completely brand new program. So you can find, I actually put the link to the discount code in the Facebook group of the original program. So if you were in that, go into the Facebook group for Sacred Wealth Virtues and you'll find the code there. And I think I will also email that out. I have to look into whether I can just send it to those who came through the live class. But if you did come through that live class, go and look in the Facebook group. If you're not on Facebook, you can email us at hello@aliciahartzell.com and we can check and see if you came through that original program almost 5 years ago now and get you that discount code. And I think it's just $223 to come through again for the brand new program. So there's a couple questions about the card deck in the Sacred Soul Symbol class. So that deck is meant to be worked with as part of the certification class. So the deck will be available to those of you who are coming through the class. It's going to be available at lower than my cost. So you will, I have to get all the details worked out and I'll be sharing that when I share the program at in the beginning of November. But it will be cheaper for you to buy it than it costs me, and then just the shipping cost, because since I have students from all over the world, I decided that, to ship from the US to Australia, for example, is a much, much more expensive cost than to ship within the United States. I believe that I can ship media mail, which takes a little bit longer, but it's much, much cheaper. So the deck will only be available for those who are coming through the certification class, because it's meant to be worked with as part of the modality. It is a healing modality that will be a certification class. So you can find more about that out in the beginning of November, but that's the only place that deck is going to be available. The certification class for Sacred Soul Symbols, right now, the price that I've landed on, which is the kind of a, I don't want to use the word beta pricing, but it's introductory pricing of $1,111. So $1,111, which will be the price for the 8-week certification class. The first time I teach it, it will have a higher price, but the first time I teach it, I'm going to offer sort of an introductory lower cost. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this class for a long time. So just so you know, that will be coming in November, and that's the price point that we have at it for it now. These tools are designed to be worked seamlessly with alignment. Alignments are the ultimate partner for this certification, although I am opening the certification to everyone. Sacred Soul Alignment is not a prerequisite. If you are a Sacred Soul Alignment practitioner, you're going to get a bonus with 20 additional alignments. And I'm actually going to be talking about the class, the certification class, on Tuesday on our final level 2 call. So you guys are going to get an early opportunity to sign up for that class just so you know. But not talking about it yet with everybody. That'll come the first, actually October 30th through November 3rd. I'm going to have a really fun journey for everyone to go through for free. That's going to introduce the class. So look out for that. But it's meant to work seamlessly with alignment. So if you're a sacred soul alignment practitioner, you are an ideal candidate for sacred soul symbols, but they can also be worked with on their own. I have actually infused every single symbol with a few appropriate alignments. So they're supporting the technologies. It's a pretty incredible modality, and I just can't wait to bring it out there in the world. I'm going to be using sacred soul symbols in the healing for the entire Sacred Wealth Virtue class. So you guys got a taste of what that's going to be like today. So just so you know, it's going to be included. There are going to be symbols included in every single healing that I do for Sacred Wealth Virtues. And Sacred Wealth Virtues is would really be an optimal primer for you if you're thinking about going into the Sacred Soul Symbol certification, because it's going to get you really opened up and really aligned with virtues, which not just unlock our relationship with money, but I started working with virtues because I wanted to unlock and enhance and open up more of my own psychic abilities, intuitive abilities, and healing abilities. That's where this work for me started, in working with virtues. So if you're a healer, if you're a sacred soul alignment practitioner, thinking about taking sacred wealth virtue, sacred soul symbols, the Sacred Wealth class is going to greatly enhance the work that you're already doing. In addition to enhancing and improving your relationship with money and your ability to co-create money because of the nature of the work. So it's working with wealth in this class specifically, but by working on the virtues themselves. And we're going to be working with multiple virtues, not just these 4, but there are other virtues within each virtue that we're going to be working on. It's going to improve every aspect of your life and all of your abilities. So I wasn't intending on really talking about the Sacred Soul Symbol class yet, but I am very excited about it. So, okay, somebody is saying that the reset, you saw boobs in the reset symbol, but chose to see the infinity symbol instead. That's interesting. I never saw that in that symbol. That's really funny. But just think about that. That actually really goes well with that frequency, because that's the energy of abundance, the energy of giving and receiving, right? I love that. And there's a question if you have both of those bonuses. Normally on a class that is this low of an investment at $333, the bonuses are the bonuses. But if you have both of those, you can reach out to hello@aliciahartzell.com and we can see what we might be able to do. So yeah, you would want to go through 1 archetype a month and continue on for 4 months in a row. And as I said, I was inspired less than a week ago to add on those extra 3 months so that it's now a 4-month live container. And just by being in that live container, that in and of itself is transformative. So looking forward to spending 4 months with those of you who are called to join me. Good. So if you have any questions, I'll go back and look at the comments. There's, I can see quite a few comments in the different places I'm streaming. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them there. You can go through this replay again. In fact, I recommend it. It will be for you right where you're watching it. I'll be also emailing it out. And I'll create a guide in the Facebook group so that you can easily find it. It will be pinned to the top there. So thank you guys for joining me. I am really, really excited for myself to go through all this work again, and the new healing and the new lessons that I have created for this program. And I'm excited to take all of you through it who are feeling called to it. So I could see several emails coming through that a lot of you guys have already signed up. So I'm excited to go and look and see who that is. And I look forward to spending the next 4 months with you guys. At $333 investment for a 4-month program is pretty remarkable. So it's an extreme value, and you will definitely get more than your investment's worth on that, more than return on investment. And I would anticipate more than a return on your investment financially, tenfold over the course of this program is the type of thing that I see regularly, or tenfold or more. So we start in less than 2 weeks, and I can't wait. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you more on Facebook over the next couple weeks as I share more about the program and pop in with some healings and trainings. So watch for that. Sending you all so much love, and bye for now.